Keith, why do so many married men quietly feel like they're losing their wife, but they don't know how to say it out loud?
Because they think they're alone. They literally look at Instagram and see everybody else getting along and their wives posting, my husband's this, or they're out in the public and they see a wife holding another man's hand, or they're at church and they see a wife has her hand over the shoulder and he's playing with the man's ear or the hair. And he goes, everybody else has this love from their wife but me. And he feels like a big fucking loser for not having it. And he feels ashamed to not be able to say it. And because nobody else is talking about it. And the only thing that they're hearing from the pastors are, be more like Jesus. He's like, I've tried all that. And he goes, I've literally tried fucking everything. And I must be the only dude that can't figure this out.
Yeah. So the comparison syndrome and trying to live your life in the way of somebody else and not what's true to you.
Yeah. And everybody else looks like they've already figured it out. And for some reason I can't. And damn, I married the wrong one. How do I say that? Most men think they married the wrong wife when the sex in the relationship goes out the one. They go, damn it, I got the wrong one. And that would be the biggest lie ever, because you didn't get the wrong one. You're showing up in the wrong way to the one you have. That's what I learned when my wife left.
Yeah. What percentage of men in relationships, you mentioned they're sharing it online. You know, we see the highlight reel. We see everybody, what they're sharing. What percentage behind closed doors are struggling and are disconnected?
This last statistic I heard, which shocked the shit out of me, shouldn't have and now doesn't. 87% of men, that's basically 9 out of 10 dudes, are not happy with the quantity or quality of sex inside the marriage. And if a man is not getting laid from a woman, his wife, that actually wants to be there and is enthusiastic about it, something sinks in the soul of a man when that happens. And that's happening on it's more normal than anything. It's why we have the honeymoon phase in the cultural zeitgeist. Everybody's heard of it, so we just assume it's normal. It's actually abnormal. It is common, but it's an abnormality to what actually should be happening in love.
Yeah, I think and I love that you did it. You called the men out, that instead of pointing the finger that you married the wrong one, point those 3 back at you and say you're showing up as the wrong person. I think what happens when a man starts to not show up as the person he was in the beginning, the woman, the wife begins to lose the attraction to him. It's like, I was sold one reality and here I'm getting something different. I'm no longer attracted to the person that you're presenting yourself. What's the hard truth about attraction that maybe most men aren't willing to admit?
It's a hard truth to admit because it's going to put a lot of responsibility on it, but it's not a hard truth. When the truth is, you have to admit that you are the reason for this. Like, listen, either you're attractive or you're not. She was attracted to you in the beginning, and she acted like a crazy animal in the sack in the beginning, and she actually acted like the women that now you're watching in videos beating off to, what you're wishing your wife acted like the ladies in the videos that you're secretly beating off to. That woman who she used to be, you either stopped doing attractive things or you started doing unattractive things. And for me and the guys that I've coached, both. So my wife married me at 185 pounds of tiger meat wrapped in barbed wire. When she left me, I was 245 pounds of polar bear pudge. Bait and fucking switch. And I'm like, why won't you have sex with me? I remember crying in the closet one night. I'm like, I don't understand why you don't want me, with my shirt off. And I should have looked down. I'm like, who fucking wants that? That is the hard truth. It's like, can you look in the mirror and go, am I actually attractive? Meaning, and it's not just abs and biceps. I've had fucking CrossFit winners come through our program. I've had NFL stars come through my program. It's not about the abs and biceps. It's about, they're no longer attracted to the soul that made them feel light and fun and airy and protected and safe. So she's just not leaning into you no longer than lean out. That's on you. Until it isn't. If you can 100% show verifiable proof, step by step, I am the most attractive version of me. And there's signs that you'll know that you are this thing. And we can go through them. And if you don't have them, then you aren't attractive. Guess what? You are her type. She liked you in the beginning. We just got to figure out what the fuck you did wrong. Where did you go off? And then if you do become that thing again and she no longer likes you, then you have a different question that goes, hey, I like me. I'm metrically the most attractive version of me. I'm more fit. I'm more financially stable. I'm more fun. I'm more friendly. I'm more all these things. If I'm more of these things and she doesn't like me, now I have to say, well, do I want to be in this anymore? But that's not where the 87% are, bro. The 87% are like, they're fatter, they're less fit, they're less financially fit, they've neglected their woman. They're like, why are these leaves on the plant so fucking brown? It's like, you're the waterer. It's you. That is what changed the game for me. This is when my wife left me 8 years ago, Frank. It was all about, she was like, we were moving into our dream home. I knew how to make dough. I've always known how to make dough. I'm fucking great at making dough because I found my value in that because I thought society would like me for making dough. So I got fucking good at making dough. Mask, seeking validation. She's like, cool, you're good at we were moving into our dream home. And she's like, cool, I'll help you move in, but I'm not staying. So her and my 2-year-old daughter jumped in the U-Haul and they fucking left. That's when I realized this was giving me my second divorce. Fuck, I'm the problem. But almost simultaneously, it feels like simultaneous now, but in the moment it wasn't. It took some time. I realized, fuck, if I'm the problem, then I'm the solution. Oh shit. Dude, now all of this Keith calling out the guy, it sounds like he's being a dickhead. He doesn't know what he's talking about and he's just blaming the men. But if you would have known my wife, Keith, you would understand, like, no. You want to be the problem or else you're not the fucking solution. If you are the problem, you're the solution. Now we have hope. Now we go, wait a second. Okay, I actually can build a really deeply connected and radically lust-filled sexual relationship with the women I used to have it with. When you look in the mirror, that's why I go after the guys, because I know, being the dude that fucked it all up, oh shit, it's us. They're a mirror to us. That's the truth. You get me going a little crazy over here, Frank, and I like it, man. You get fired up, bro.
No, I love this, man. We had a few years ago, we had a relationship coach on, Bodie Aldridge. He's based out of Australia, and a lot of his work was based on understanding masculine and feminine dynamics. And he painted this beautiful analogy and picture of what a relationship is supposed to be. And he uses a river as the example, as the analogy. And the two parts that make a river, because if it had these two, it'd be a different body of water, was the river bank. So the structure that moves the river down, and then the water, so the flowing of the water, right? And he talked about the masculine, the male's role in a relationship is to be the bank, to be the structure, the guide, the frame that moves something in a specific direction. And then the feminine, the woman's role is to be that water. It's that beautiful flowing water down the river bank. I think a lot of men aren't showing up as the bank. They're lacking that confidence, that aura, that structure. So a woman doesn't know what to do. There's nowhere for me to go. That creates chaos inside of a woman's head. And I think what you're speaking to runs in parallel with that. A man has to be confident. There's got to be an attraction that he feels from within about who he is that can step in and say, this is who I am. This is the dynamics within the relationship. This is where we're going. And then the woman can fall into her role of being that bank that's going to move it all together.
Okay, so you asked me the hardest truth, I think, for a man. First of all, banging analogy. That I'm going to use that forever from now. That was a banging analogy. Secondly, yes, the answer is be more confident. Here is the second truth that I think men have a really hard time swallowing, but I think it's more the women that have a hard time. Most men have been learned how to become men by women.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, I need to step up being confident. How the fuck are you going to be confident that you're made to believe that for your wife to actually like you, you need to become her little Mr. Belvedere and a little butler and make sure that you're washing all the dishes and scurrying up and like, what are we fucking talking about here? You should wash your dish because you're a human who takes responsibility for if you make a mess, you clean it the fuck up for no other reason. That's what we're talking. When I see the trash full, guess what? I grab it and I fucking take it out. If my wife sees it full, she grabs it and takes it out. It's called personal fucking responsibility. I don't do it so Jesse goes, wow, he's so cool. He took out the trash. Maybe I want to jump his bones. So here's what's happening, Frank, in my opinion. The worst fucking advice on planet Earth is coming from pastors and not knowing it. These guys don't even know it. I was one of them. I used to be a pastor of a church that I started with a friend of mine and then became the senior pastor of it and have a deep heart for men in religious institutions. And it's this, they're getting the wrong advice that says, hey, do more dishes, do more around the house, try and do more so you can get this thing. And it only re-emphasizes and reinforces this, I got to do all this shit so I can get the treat and reward of sex, which is the mom matrix, is I'm going to do things so my mommy pats me on the head and goes, here's a little gold star for your chart, little Johnny. That fucks up polarity altogether. So here's a couple things that we learned. Most men don't even know how to actually be a man, and they're learning bullshit from people that don't actually have the fruit of actual polarity. And when I named this company Married Game, it was because I understood one thing. Sex actually gets better the longer you're with somebody if you know what you're fucking doing. This is why I don't believe in the honeymoon phase. We say honeymoon sex is for minor leaguers, man. Soul sex gets better with age. Why? I know this woman more than I've ever known. We've been through history. We've been through experiences. She's seen me strive and fail. She's seen me strive and triumph, and the same. So when we're talking about sex, and I'm talking about the soul sex, where you literally believe that like your souls have unionized together and you are on a fucking rocket ship to Pleasure Town together, that's because, dude, all the masks are dropped, all the bullshit lies, all the I'm trying to get you to do something, manipulation, take our energy bullshit is gone. It's like we're here to give to one another, and it's a joy. Men don't know this because they don't have game, because they've been taught a bunch of bullshit from women that just don't know, period. They don't know. We go, well, Keith, how the fuck do you know? Well, I don't know. I was a pastor in church experiencing this, and I left the church and went and had sex with hundreds of the most beautiful women on planet Earth and still lost my wife because I didn't understand long-term attraction versus short-term attraction. Back to you, Frank. You got me all fired up and I fucking love it.
No, I'm loving this, man. And I think the thing that really was highlighted to me when you talked about this soul sex, it getting better over time, which it should be, right? It's like anything you do with another person, the more you do it, you're going to get better. But the piece that you said that like aha me was like, it's the giving. I'm there to give in this experience. I'm half of this experience. Our men, where I come from, the world that I live in with pornography addiction, sex is a performative act, right? Like we're watching it, and men are conditioning themselves to be voyeuristic. It's like they're actually sitting on the outside of what you're describing is the most soul engaging activity in our life, but it's performative because we're wiring our brains to see this. And I think a lot of our work with helping men is step outside of that. This is a performance act versus this is a joining of two souls, a unionistic experience that when you're there to give, exponentially different than what you've ever experienced before.
Yeah. You nailed it right on the head. Here's another truth that a lot of guys have a hard time with. I was taught that porn is fake. Women don't actually act that way. So I just thought, oh, cool. I actually want my wife to act that way. But since that's fake, I don't need to want that anymore. So I'm okay with her just laying there and just giving me pity sex, duty sex, because I guess this is just the thing. When I went on my journey to go figure this thing out, I realized, no. They act exactly like they do in pornos. There are women that act exactly like that. Oh, and by the way, my wife does now too. I wish they would have told me this, because this is the truth. What you're looking for in watching porn, the most looked at spot on the screen is the woman's face. Because a man wants to know he can bring his wife that kind of pleasure. It's why we love when they go fucking nuts. We call it releasing the tiger in our thing. You know, which I want to release the tiger. That's, as a guy that feels so good, I wish my pastor would go, listen, that's actually how they act. If you're the guy that can get them to act that way, now let me teach you how to get her to act that way. Because my belief is there's an inner slut in every woman. That's why every guy wants it, because it's what we desire. You don't think that the thing we desire most actually lies within them? Of course it does. The same way the thing that they desire most lies within us. But can you be the guy to extract it and pull it out of her? That, my friend, is what real game is all about. What do you think about that? I don't know what you even think about that, because what's your thoughts? This is what my experience is. Maybe it might be different for you.
No, I'm glad we're having this, because here's the reality, Keith, is this piece of this conversation in our work, in our world, is oftentimes put away. Like it's not. So many men believe that getting porn out of their life is removing all of this deeper. The language I would maybe use is a little bit different. The sluttiness, I don't know if I would describe it in those lenses, but I know exactly what you're saying. I think a lot of men think, when I stop watching these things, my sex life has to become vanilla. And I've had to sit on the other side of a Zoom call and in sessions with men and say, no, if you revert back to a softer, weaker, nice guy syndrome mentality, that's what you're going to get, because that's all that you're worthy of. But if you step into the boldness, if you step into the higher masculine energy that God has placed inside of you, and a woman feels safe, I think the key there is, in order for a woman to do that, is she has to feel so safe in that environment that she can just let herself go. That's Boldy's analogy, right? Is if the bank is strong enough, the water within the river flowing feels safe and protected wherever it's going to take. But if you are not walking in a boldness, in a masculine strength that she can lean into, she's not gonna be able to do that. So let's talk about, because you said, and I agree, men have been feminized through all institutions. 85% of elementary school teachers, I believe, are women, maybe slightly off there. The church has been feminized. I got a great friend that writes about this in a book called The Standard, Discovering Jesus as a Standard Masculine. Jesus has been feminized in many ways in the portrayal of who he really is. Jesus was a man that flipped tables over and probably would use very similar language to what you're using here today in certain times, but that's not what is being taught to men. So men have been feminized. They don't know what it is to be a true man. They don't have great examples of what a man really is. So let's unpack that, right? Like, what is a man? Or what should a man be or focus on becoming?
Here's the beautiful thing. I've boiled this down to one sentence that I think it will be true forever, and it's immutable. No one will ever be able to debunk this. We already say it in our vernacular, and we go, a man is only as good as his word. We've all heard this. And every man would be like, your word is your bond. This is the cornerstone of almost all conversations with men. Here's my take on that. Most men actually don't do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it without fault. That is the answer, because here's what happens when you do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it without fault. I'm going to give 3 very quick examples so they can see where we're all fucking it up. Hey, honey, I'll be home at 5, and I'm always home between 5:10 and 5:23, and I've always got an excuse why I can never be on time. Hey, honey, I'm going to hang those pictures in the hallway. 5 months later, they're still not hung, and I have an excuse why it's da 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 da. Hey, baby, I'm going to get this thing from the store from you on my way home from work. Fuck, I got so busy at work. I got caught up. I totally forgot, my bad. Maybe tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. If you do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it without fault, that builds trust, period. And when the trust goes up, the lust goes up. So what you just said, when they feel safe, they unleash them. How we say that is, be the redwood tree that she can push against you and knows you're going to hold up, so that way she can dance under the shade of your branches. What these analogies are simply painting the picture of exactly what you're saying. Do what you say. If I do what I say I'm going to do, my wife, listen, I want, this is going to shock every man's ears. I don't care what you think. I'm here to shock you so you can wake up. My wife will do anything sexually I ask of her anytime. Any fantasy, any pleasure, anything I want to do, because of one thing. If I'm there with you, I know I'm the safest woman in the room. Wherever we go. Not to mention, I just got my blue belt last night in jujitsu. That's not what she's talking about. She's talking about safety with emotion. She can share anything. And guess what? I don't become defensive like a little lady boner killer. Defensiveness is the biggest lady boner killer ever. And so here's what's happening. I'm getting fired up. Frank, I haven't gotten this fired up on one of these calls in a while. You're really hitting my nerves, and I like it. I like it a lot. But it's this energy. If a guy would simply revert, what is a man? A man is what a man, a supremely valuable man, a man that has all the options in the world with women. And when he's monogamous and with one woman, she knows that if she does not show up in a high standard, he literally could have the pick of any other. That's called the perception of options. It's a very powerful lever in game. We're not trying to create anything that's not there. We're open to the reality of what is. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. That will start you down every path you need to go on. That's my one single 7-minute answer.
But years ago, I had Dr. Anna Lemke, author of Dopamine Nation, Stanford's director of addiction, one of the most highly regarded individuals in the recovery and community space. I'm going to link this back to our work and kind of how we help and navigate these conversations with our men. And Anna shared with me that her first step you would take when in her clinical practice when she's working with people in addiction. And I think helping people recover and transform their lives in addictions is exactly the same from a psychological and behavioral standpoint as helping a man get control of his relationship, helping him get control of his fitness. There's so much spillover in all these areas. And that's why I'm using this to follow up with what you said. Her first step that she takes with all of her clients is radical honesty. Stop lying in every single area of your life. If you were late to work because you stayed 15 minutes reading the newspaper and watching the news, you weren't late to work when you got there because there was traffic, right? If you didn't get to the gym because you were just lazy that day, don't say that you stayed after work later. And she said the lies that we tell about ourselves become the story and the narrative of the reality that we exist in. You begin to lie enough, you begin to lie long enough. You talked about trust, and I think you were saying trust in your relationship. When you lie long enough, that trust with the person looking back at you in the mirror begins to erode. And if I know deep subconsciously that I am a liar, I can never present that, once again, that masculine frame, that energy in the relationship, because there's going to be this deep underlying disbelief, even when I say something to another person, this probably isn't going to happen, right? It's like, and how I try to use this with our men is like, think of people in your life that have promised you things, and then they do that 3-4 times, you give up on that person. Well, how many times have you promised yourself that you're going to get in shape? How many times have you promised yourself that you're going to stop hitting snooze? How many times have you promised yourself that you're going to get porn out of your life? You don't believe because you don't have a track record of not believing. So we help them with the first step of the day is like, just stop hitting snooze. Like it's such a simple win, and it can be transformative. Like if you're a man that hits snooze, which half the men do and half the men don't, it's like just knowing that when I say I'm going to wake up at this time, I actually do it, slowly begins to build confidence in yourself.
You're so spot on. We found the exact same thing. The reason I'm so honest about my upbringing, how I used to be a pastor, I used to read the New Testament once a week through. Like I'm a dedicated, disciplined motherfucker. And when the whole reason I left the church and went down this path that I went on, and I'm back now, I believe in Jesus, and I'm more spiritually connected than I've ever been. I think Jesus is the way, and I think he's floating through all of us, and we've got really good vibes because of it. That being said, I think that the shit that's being taught today in Jesus' name is fucking people's lives up in their marriage and in their sex life, because it's taught from people that don't really have the fruit. That is the problem. Hey, listen, if a guy goes, hey, my wife left me 8 years ago because I was not showing up this way, and this way, and then I decided I was going to change it this way, and this way, not to get her to do anything for me, but for me to be this guy for myself, that's exactly what you're talking about. Man, do what you say you can do when you say you can do it without fault has got to be, that's your mantra for you. It's not whether, and a lot of times guys are like, oh, like, what do you mean? So she can trust that you're not going to go cheat on her? Dude, my wife's not afraid of me cheating on her. She knows that would be the biggest violation of my word to myself. She's like, dude, that guy would take a bullet before he fucking broke his word to himself in that area. That's not fucking happening. But can she trust that when I go, I'm going to pick up our daughter from dance at such and such time, that she's not wondering, is that actually going to happen? And then when she goes, I can lean on this guy, then they subconsciously do this thing. And maybe you've seen this happen, but it happens a lot. Women test what they want to trust subconsciously. So here's what happens. A guy will listen to the only reason these guys are beating off and watching porn and coming to you, Frank, because they feel horrible about doing it, but they don't know another option, and they don't want to cheat on their wife. They don't want to get a divorce. That would break their family. That would break their God's heart. Like, they feel fucking stuck as shit. I did too. Okay? So you know that. I know that. But really, that's a hole inside of them that they're really trying to fill in the deepest way possible. We all just want to be fucking loved for who we are. So that leads a man down to some things, and to where he will do whatever it takes to get a little bit of acceptance from his wife and not have his backbone or ball sack intact. And she goes, he's an easy pushover. Now she knows, oh, fuck, I'm the leader. And guess what happens? She acts like a petty little tyrant. She takes away the resources, keeps her man on her leash, keeps him in a good spot. You stay there. And he goes, fuck, she won't listen to me. She won't suck my dick anymore. She's too busy. Everybody else is a priority. And then now he goes, well, what do I do? I'll just go beat off for 5-7 minutes. Just get that itch out of me. And then I can kind of like cope through my life. So I know that guy's here going, but can I actually turn this thing fucking around in my marriage? And the answer is yes, but only if, number one, you own the fucking truth and go, shit, I'm the problem, I'm the solution. The second thing that I came to realize was the biggest thing for a guy to turn this around, and it's the only reason that they guys get the results, I'm sure, in your program, is number two, he had to go, I have to become the most attractive version of me for me. You know, the guy who doesn't hit the snooze button, the guy who goes, I have an hour of videos to watch on how to quit porn and to take control of my life again. And I only have from 5 to 6 a.m. to do it before the rest of my life gets up. That guy's at 4:59 hitting that thing off so it doesn't wake anybody up. And he's at 5 o'clock going, I got to do this. Dude, there are guys, when they come into our program, they will go, I binge watched every fucking module overnight because the stuff you're telling me is setting me free. Oh my God, this actually, she's a mirror to me. She's literally mirroring back to me. Fuck. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, man.
I know when I'm on a called an initial consultation call with somebody, or they're in the first couple stages of our program, when he shares with me that he's reached a point in his relationship where he doesn't know if he's going to be able to save his marriage. Like, I know that guy is here for the right reason, because he's the one that's like, I'm here to do this for me, no matter what the outcome of my relationship is going to be. That guy that is still trying to quit porn to save his marriage has a higher probability of failing. That guy that is trying to get in shape to save his marriage, it's the same thing as washing the dishes to have sex, right? It's the behavior with the reward. It's like, no, do it for you first because you deserve it, and everybody in your life deserves it as well. But when they see that you're doing it for them, it's like, it's sales and influence, right? There's the takeaway close. It's like, you're probably not the right person for today's program anyways. You're probably not the right person to get this card, whatever it is. Like, you take it away. Now that person is like, wait a minute. Like, I want that. It's the forbidden fruit. When the wife sees you doing the internal work for yourself, you almost become that forbidden fruit, because if she doesn't latch back onto it, well, now there's this competition with all these other women out there that would potentially be right for you, right? Is that kind of what you're speaking to here? Is like, become attractive to become the most attractive person for you.
For you. And most guys don't know. Self-love has been really misinterpreted. Self-love is like this looking in the mirror going, I'm beautiful, I'm awesome. Dude, if you're in the mirror having to tell yourself that, then you're not that, because the world would have already told you, you're beautiful, you're awesome, you're handsome, you're whatever, ... That's not self-love. Self-love is, that person crossed my boundaries and I need to speak up for myself. The only way you felt love as a kid is when your bigger brother stepped in and said, quit picking on my big brother, or you're going to fuck with me. That guy, you knew your brother loved you because he stepped in for you. So a lot of guys aren't stepping up for themselves. And again, it's not their fault, but now it's their responsibility. We have been told so much stuff. Oh my God. Blame, victim, victim, victim. Dude, a guy asks for sex and his wife turns him down and he becomes a pouty little bitch. I was the chief king of pouty little bitches because I'm like, why? And it's like, wait a second, dude. If you're the most attractive version of you for you, you've healed that inside and you go, oh, if you don't want me, no problem. I doesn't mean I'm not wantable. And that's the other thing. Oh, Frank, that's the other thing, dude, is yeah, men want sex. But there's some guys that their wife will give them sex, but they're still coming to marry game. You know why? They want to be wanted. They want to be they actually want to see the longing in their wife's eyes again, where she goes, I'm so proud to be you. But the real question is, I go, she's not going to give that look. You have to smile for the mirror to smile back. It won't smile first. You have to smile and then it smiles back. So the smile is, I'm going to live at this standard because that's my standard for me, which leads us to our third point. I'm teaching you the three major principles. We call it the Holy Trinity of married game. I'm the problem. I'm the solution. Become the most attractive version of me for me. And then the third thing is her response does not dictate my standard. Her response dictates how long I put up with her living below my standard. They can't teach that in the church. They can't teach that in the church because in the church, they make it feel like if you get a divorce or you divorce, you're like next to like Satan's son. I don't believe that. And I live in a world where I know that, hey, listen, there's guys, beautiful men that have come into our program. And I go, if you want the X back or the sex back, you're going to have to get your backbone and your ball sack back first, because they're not going to. Guys want them to act attracted, but they don't want them to be truly attracted. I'm talking about true transformation from the inside out. She's not going to pretend she's attracted. You know the difference. But how that happens is not her change. I thought I was married to the wrong woman. Dude, my wife is the coolest fucking human being on planet Earth that I've ever fucking met. And I convinced myself she was the wrong woman. You know why? Because I was showing up as the wrong guy and she was just mirroring back to me. I'd ask for sex and she's like, I'll give it to you, but I'm not that attracted to you, was the energy and the thing. I'm like, why aren't you attracted to me? It's like, well, you gained 60 pounds. I put my business not on autopilot, but I was making like $2 million a year without a whole lot of work. And guess what? I became lazy. Where was the ambitious, driven guy? Dude, I was a horrible parent. I thought I was a good parent, yet I wasn't spending any time with my kid. I thought, I protect, I provide, I produce. Where's my pussy? And I didn't realize that that's not the answer. That is not the equation. It's are you a good parent? Are you a good partner? Dude, remember when you used to drive home from a date with your wife and you'd be listening to songs and you'd park in the driveway, and then then the next song was good and you'd have such good confidence, the window started fogging up. You remember that? That's what your wife misses. She misses her best friend who she could talk about anything. Now you guys are just talking about logistics and arguing about this, and you're over here wanting to have a conversation about why we're not having sex anymore. You don't ever have to have a conversation with your wife about when are we going to have sex again or why aren't we having sex until you fix your side of the street. Clean up your side of the street and do it for you, because that's why I say her response doesn't dictate my standard. I'm gonna be buff whether Jesse wants me or not. I'm going to be rich whether Jesse wants me or not. Dude, she didn't even like my beard. And I go, she goes, oh, I don't know if I like that. I go, oh yeah, you definitely shouldn't grow one for yourself. She goes, I go, this beard is so fucking beautiful. I get 5 to 10 compliments a day on my beard and another 50 from myself when I see myself in the mirror. And I go, I love this beard. This thing is fucking rad. Guess what? She goes, she saw some pictures of me without a beard just last week. She goes, oh my God, don't ever shave your beard. Because I'm not waiting for her to tell me I'm a thing. I'm the thing. Which then gives you the power back. My wife wants to have sex with me because it brings pleasure to me, not because she's some nympho fucking maniac. Most women aren't nympho fucking maniacs. In fact, I've had like 4 girlfriends in the past where they want to have sex every day. And after week 3, you're like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is a little much. But a guy wants a wife to have that desire, that playfulness, that almost like she's acting like a little girl again because she feels so safe. That's what we help guys do. I wrote a book about it. We have a monthly comic book about it. I got a coaching program about it. I built a fucking man cave around it. I'm so into this shit. I can't help myself because I was the guy that needed the help.
I love this, man. And I want to get into maybe what you guys do or what the relationships can do to inject or ensure that playfulness is still there with a lot going on, right? Kids, family, mortgages, bills, responsibilities, running businesses together. Like the reality is like a lot of people have a lot going on in their life that does consume a lot of their time, but it's important to inject that playfulness. I just want to comment on what we've been speaking to here. And first off, it is one of the most epic, beautiful beers we've ever had on the podcast. 321 episodes. It's easily in the top 3, top 4, top 5. So you are spot on in reminding yourself daily that it is a game winning beer there. So keep that rolling, man. Envious. One day I want to kind of rub my hand up on it and maybe get a little bit of that sauciness from it. But it's interesting, man. I went through an intentional season of singleness a couple years ago. This was coming out of, my porn addiction. I struggled for 20 plus years. I had multiple failed relationships, got to the point where I realized like I was the single factor in every single one of those. And a big aha for me is like, I had pedestalized every woman in my life. Like when you struggle with porn, women are placed outside, right? You begin to pedestalize them. Like you're speaking like the classic saying from the 4-year-old virgin, right? You put the pussy on the pedestal, right? It's like that was me. And it's like when I would have a relationship with a woman long term, I would squeeze it so hard because I didn't want to lose it. I would almost squeeze her away. Those are kind of some of the ways that I've been able to understand it. So I went through an intentional single season, right? I was like, I am not actively looking for any type of relationship until I get myself right, until I know that I am the prize at the end of it. And I actually remember in 2022 sharing that with somebody. I was at an event, I was at a mastermind, I was talking to a relationship coach, and they're like, Frank, like your business is great, you're attractive, you're fit. Why aren't you out there? I was like, I don't yet feel inside yet like that I'm the prize. And I was like, I want the next relationship for me to be the prize. And the woman that I'm with now is like when we first started dating, we were at the gym with somebody, and somebody that knew me for a short while came up and said, hey, that blonde over there, like, is that your girl now? And I was like, yeah. I was like, they were like, good job. They were like, congratulating me, like, good job. She's amazing. She's beautiful. She's fit. I was like, well, go tell her congratulations. Go tell her good job. It was like, because I had begin to build that confidence. It's like, no, I'm the catch here, right? And I think that's what you're speaking to right here is like, so I just want to say, guys out there, like if you're hearing this, like everything that Keith is speaking to runs fully aligned with what we want you to have in your life. But let's talk about this, right? Like getting tactical with this, guys. What are some of the things that you do, Keith, in your marriage, weekly, monthly, or what are some of the things that you teach within your men to keep that playfulness or inject it in your relationship despite all the busyness and chaos that guys are going through?
Okay, all I do is simply switch the focus of where the motivation is at. I'll show you what I'm saying. A lot of guys, if they're struggling, they're on YouTube, like, how do I get my wife to want me? Blah, blah, blah. I want light, fun, blah, blah, blah. And there's a real common answer that comes out like, you need to start going on dates, right? Date your wife. You need to start going on dates, which is not a wrong answer. It's just not the complete right answer. Why? Well, if you take a woman on a date that's not attracted to you, you're literally putting her in hell. Any guy on here, if I said, hey, man, I got the sweetest, most amazing lady, got beautiful lips. She's 572 pounds, but dude, she is amazing. Every guy would be like, I don't want to be a part of my 600-pound life. That's not what I want to be a part of. No, thank you. It's that unattractive. So to say just go on a date with your wife, to me, I think would be only telling a man a half truth, and he would get really frustrated when he goes there. He's not his most attractive version of himself. And so therefore she's now having to go on a date with a guy that she's not attracted to. What is a better way of doing this? I want to just shift the focus. The motivation is I want to have fun. I'm going to go buy comedy tickets to go to the comedy store because I fucking love watching comedy. And I'm going to invite my wife to go there with me so we can go watch comedy. Not so I can go on a date night and get laid, but because I want to be a fun guy again. Too many guys try and go, how do I be fun for my wife? I go, we're not doing it for your wife. How do you become fun for you? What do you like doing? Like, oh man, I really like hiking. When's the last time you hiked? Oh, my wife doesn't really like hiking. What the fuck? You let somebody who didn't like hiking talk you out of liking hiking? What are we talking about? So it's like these types of things, most guys, they don't even know what their fun is. Dude, I'll show you my fun. I'll tell you my fun right here. I built a whole man cave and put a pool table in it. You know why? So my best friend Garrett J. White and my other friend Jeremy Finlay and a couple of my other buddies who lived in town here, we could all have a place to go, talk shit, shoot pool, and figure out each other's problems and how to solve them with each other. Dude, go have fun because you want to be a fun guy. And guess what I tell Frank? Frank, you got to hear this. The guys are coming in. I go, hey, you got to schedule a date night once a week. It's like, oh, she doesn't want to go. I go, cool. Then go alone. Like what? I go, you're not going to talk somebody into telling them, oh, I'm fun. You either are a fun guy or you aren't. You don't go on a kayaking trip because you think people will like you because you went kayaking. You go on a kayaking trip because you love to kayak. So this is the end of the motivation isn't I'm doing this so I can get fun back in my marriage. I'm doing this so I can get fun back in my life because I fucking deserve it. That's what self-love is. Self-love is, for me, at this point in my business, I take Friday off, the entire day off every fucking week. I don't do business. You know why? Because Saturday and Sunday, I'm super dad and super husband. Those aren't my days off. That's when I get to pour all my attention into these two humans that I love more than fucking anybody on planet Earth. And the other 4 days I pour into my clients. Motivation switch.
I do, man. I do. Friday is your day. It's what you share there is it's doing the thing for the outcome. Once again, it's the consistent theme here. Don't do the dishes for the sex. Do it because that's the standard that you live your life by. Don't get fit, quit porn, make more money to save your marriage. Do that because that's the standard that you live your life by. Don't schedule date night to have fun with your wife. Schedule date night because you need to fill your cup up every single week so that you can go out there and serve your clients, serve your business, serve your family, and take it away. And it brings up, I don't know how often maybe get asked this question, and I'm curious, like, is every marriage, I don't even want to say salvageable because I know the answer to that is no, but I guess in the work with the married game, like what percentage of your clients come in and it because they're coming there initially with the intent to save their marriage, right? And then you, through your work, are reframing this for them. Maybe some guys come in because they've heard the content and they say, now I got to do this. And Keith is still my guy, but I'm assuming that there's going to be guys that come in with the goal. I'm going to hire Keith. He's the most expensive relationship coach. He's going to guarantee success. The outcome is going to be my relationship, my marriage is going to be saved. But then he gets in, he starts doing the work, and the marriage is not salvageable. Like what is that conversation like with a guy, and what are some signs that he should look for once he starts going down this path of truth, responsibility, identity transformation that he needs to know? And I'm not encouraging people to cut the cord with their wife. I think once you make that covenant, like you do everything within you can, but sometimes it's not going to work out. So what does that look like in terms of a conversation or kind of like a sign that guy's looking for? Like once he starts going down that the wife is just resistant to this, because I'm assuming that's going to come up at some point, right?
Yeah. A guy who's been in our program 3 years, they were on the bridge of divorce twice. He got her back, got to the point where they're having a lot of regular sex. We track how much sex each guy has each week because it's a metric. And he was having multiple weeks where they're having sex 6 to 8 times a week. He's been in the program for a long time. He got into, where he wanted to go, where he wanted to grow. She's like, I'm done growing. This is my limit. And she actually contracted it way back, not because and she's like, your side of the street's clean. You're good. He's like, all right, well, there's a place I want to go. I'm not trying to cut covenant, but here's the thing. We do everything on a contract. Your cell phone right here. There's a reason you pay them every month, and it's because of what they deliver. They promised texting, email, and web browsing at a minimum. If Verizon calls me up tomorrow and goes, listen, dude, our email's still good. Surfing the net, you're great. We no longer do texting. And I go, what do you mean no longer texting? We're like, we're just not in the mood. What? Yeah, I got a headache. Wait, so I don't get to do text anymore because you're not in the mood. You got to, wait, hold on. We signed a contract. So when I talk about a guy, when he goes, I don't want to break my covenant. This is the language. We don't want to break our word. I just told you the most important thing about a man is not breaking your word. But there also has to come to a point where if a man knows he's at his value and he's become this guy, clean to side of the street, he's been being a great parent, a great partner, a great producer, a great player, and a great standing in his power in his marriage. We call that guy a provocateur, a man who provokes his wife to lust after him. If he becomes that, when he becomes that, if she no longer wants to go on that journey with him and she goes, no, I'm not going to give you sex, he's just like, cool. So just like Verizon, if they take something away, you've already canceled the contract on your end. I wasn't the one. I'm asking you to fulfill the thing you promised in front of everybody on that altar till death do us part. I'm going to give and serve and love my man. Now, he doesn't understand she is a reflection of him and he's the one that's causing all the problems. But once he does realize that and he cleans the side of the street and she no longer wants, here's exactly the energy that a man should leave his marriage. And this, every guy will know this exactly right here when I'm about ready to say it. First of all, she has to break her covenant, which is the no sex. That's a deal breaker. The same way if you hired me and I never showed up, that'd be a deal fucking breaker. Here's the energy. Let me ask you a quick question, Frank. If I asked you to drive a 1983 Toyota Corolla with chip paint just because I thought it would be a good idea for you, would you do that? No. No. And the reason why for most men is because that would be below your standard of how you see yourself currently. Is that correct? Yeah. That is the only energy you should ever leave a woman for. And that is, I literally believe I am settling in my life for a life way underlived than my current proof of who I am. That would be the only reason. Not, she doesn't want to have sex with me. Well, let's find out why. Oh, you never shower after the gym and you come home all day. You show up to date night in fucking sweats. You never take the kids. Your breath fucking stinks. You haven't worked out in 6 years. You play a video game with Cheeto dust on your fingers, or you're at the office working all the time saying, I'm doing it for you, and yet you're never here for her. And you wonder why she doesn't want to suck your dick. That might be, let's get rid of these before we get rid of her. That's the energy. So does it happen? Yeah. 90% of the time, the guys get a radically fucking effective marriage and they love everything about it. The other 10 guys are even happier than those guys because they go, and here's the energy. The energy, and this is, it's not, if you don't have sex with me, I'm leaving you. This isn't ultimatum bullshit. This is, I am going to have a radically beautiful, passionate, lust-filled, desire-filled marriage. I would love it to be with you, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm going to do everything on my end, realizing you're probably going to mirror me because that's the law of the mirror. If I see a D plus wife, there's a D plus husband in front of that mirror. I would encourage the guy, go for 90 days, become the A plus version of you and watch where she shakes out. You might be shocked and surprised that she's going to respond very differently. Most plants become green when you fucking water them, but not if you water them. So that's the energy.
God, that last bit there. No, that one is what kind of brought it all together for me and kind of drove it home. It's going back to the river analogy. If you put the water in the bank, if the bank is strong enough and secure, and it may take time for the sediment to build up, right? It's like a river isn't created just overnight. That sediment, that rock has to form over years. Raise your standards, live those standards out long enough without the expectation that she's going to change. And you rise rising sea rises all ships. I think I get that right. You've talked about it briefly here, yeah, over the conversation, that a lot of this happened with a wake up call that you experienced in your marriage. I think it was 8 years ago. Can you walk us through, what that season was like, what was breaking down, and what was really happening, going on behind the scenes for you?
My business was cranking. So as a man, I was under the illusion that if you're providing and producing, I was literally moving into a dream house. Like by any standards. Mr. T lived fucking 3 doors down. So I want you to understand, this wasn't some little nice little house. It was a gated community. The fucking VP of Hawkinson was my cross the street. Everyone in there had resources, and I'm moving into this place. And her response was, I will help you move in, but I'm not staying. Most women have been planning a year or two before they leave, especially because mine was a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, right? So her finances were dependent upon me. And the thing is she's like, I wanted this life with you. I wanted to be with you. I wanted you. You were the guy that swept me off my feet. I wanted you, but I can only ask for so long. I can only ask for what I need for so long. So what happened was when she left, it was like, oh, and dude, I was at a mastermind when she gave me the news. And earlier that morning, I was telling my friend, I'm like, bro, things are going really fucking good. That's how blind I was to this. I didn't even see it. Most guys that are listening to this, Frank, dude, you've been around, man. You're working with men, so you are saturated and drenched in reality of what's really going on in men's sex lives. So some of this stuff might be might be new, but you and I are pretty conversant in this language. Most men watching this are thinking, I cannot believe that there's fucking hope. This guy's talking about actual hope. Yeah, my wife 8 years ago was so unattracted to me, she left. She was like, I don't even care about this dream home. Fuck off. So it was that energy that I realized, shit, here I am thinking I'm the catch. When in reality, this woman was like, it sounds like this is going to break your little heart. And it did. But dude, you're not the things that you portray, or you're not the thing, or whatever it is you think you're doing. I'm not. So when guys all understand being sexually rejected is horrible. That same feeling resides in your wife if she feels emotionally neglected. It's the exact same feeling. So how about I go feed my best friend what she needs to have the best plant ever? And if I realize she ends up growing, she's just a little plant, and I'm still going to love her and take care of her and do the thing. But brother, you can't get mad at her if you're not willing to do this thing. And so that for me is when I had the big aha. Fuck, I've been living for everybody else. I've been masking all these deep insecurities and this pain by going, look, I've fucked hundreds of hot women. Most of them are in magazines. Oh, wow. And then I'm like, I can't even keep this girl? What? So my pride and my ego were smashed. But in the middle of that pride and ego being smashed, this opening, this phoenix, like you speak of, this bird, that inner real truth was like, Keith, what are you doing getting fat? What are you doing not paying attention to your business? What are you doing not being fun with your wife and no longer taking her on dates and dancing? That's how she fell in love with you, is because how much fun you have. So that is what I was feeling all in that moment. I felt tremendous amount of shame. So much shame. Like I fucked up a second marriage. How dumb am I? All that.
And what was you shared you gotten unfit, you were providing, you believed the lie that if I provide, everything's going to be taken care of. Like I'm holding my responsibility. There's some truth to that. Men need to be provider. But for you, what was, I guess, the biggest lie, the biggest truth you had to face in the moment? And what did that first, maybe initial step look like for you?
Okay. For me, I was like, wow, I'm so unattractive that this lady, I mean, her words to me was, my life would be better without you in it. Yeah. Not the Hallmark card I wanted, but guess what? That was because a week before I forgot Mother's Day. Like how blind. And here I was being praised by all my friends. I was having business success. I was winning. I was traveling. I was doing the thing. And then she's at home going. So I realized this is what really hit me. If the person who knows me the best is telling me I'm these things and I'm not willing to admit it, and she's willing to say I'm no longer going to be trapped in this marriage by a man who will not listen to me, who will not understand me, who will not take any time to focus and put any energy into me, because he wants to, not to get anything. That's the difference. Most guys are doing all this shit. They come and they will watch a podcast like this and go, Keith, what do I got to do to get this? And Keith, what do I got to do to get her to do it? And guys, even when they come on my program, they're still like, I'm doing this thing, but she didn't. And it's like, you're still focused on her. The biggest truth was she was telling me, Keith, you're not what you say you are, and you're living a lie. Oh, I had to finally admit that. And the first step I took, I go, well, what do I know for a fact I'm 100% in control of? My body. I went from 185 pounds, six pack. That's when she met me. Six pack, fucking stud. We call him the catch of the county now. Our goal is to become the catch of the county. That is like, be such a damn good dude in every area because it's your standard that if for some reason your wife was crazy enough to leave you, that there would be 100 other ladies knocking on your door trying to be, I want to be the next Mrs. Keith. I want to be the next Mrs. Frank. When you believe you're the catch of the county, what that does is that makes you realize you have that there is the potential options. I tell this guys to single men, they almost become asexual with their wife because they go, oh, I can't even look at another woman. No, if there's a hot girl, my wife is like, that lady's hot. I'm like, she's super attractive. Well done. I don't want to fuck the Mona Lisa to appreciate the value in its art. I can even admit, dude, yeah, I would like to fuck her. I'm not afraid to admit, doesn't mean I'm going to. I'd like to take $1 million out of your bank account and put it in mine. Doesn't mean I'm going to. But that would be a really easy way to make $1 million. So what I'm saying is guys become almost asexual and their wife is like, what has happened to this guy? And so the truth of the matter is options versus the potential options. Once you're single, when you're single, every woman's trying to fight to be with you. Kind of like The Bachelor. They want that rose. But once you give him the rose, the guy, he almost thinks it's like he's getting through the finish line rather than realize he's starting in the starting blocks. Starting blocks. It's the starting blocks. You're not going through the finish line. You're the starting blocks. So he forgets that, bro, if you showed up with first date energy every day for your wife, you would get first date sex, my guy.
So true. So true. I got another friend. Yeah. We have another friend, multiple time guests on the show, Tony De Lorenzo, one's Run Extraordinary Marriage. He says the biggest mistake that most men make in a relationship or marriage is thinking that the I do is the finish line and not the starting point. And it happens. He let himself go. We spoke to it so many times here today. You're not the man that you were in the beginning. You presented yourself. You were strong, fit. I love that you talked about, because so few, I think, men in your space and also in mine will talk about the importance of physical strength or physical transformation. Just like you do, we lead men through an identity transformation. Well, it's almost impossible to see yourself as the same person if you're walking around in a different body. You want to change your identity, start with literally the physical body that you are presenting yourself to the world and yourself as man. God, Keith, this has been incredible.
It psychologically changes you too, Frank, because if you have a wife that give you sex, but you go out in the world and there are women, all the hot women at the gym want to high five you, they smile at you, you know, hey, I have market value. I have market value. So you're not going to accept somebody treating you less than. There's a piece of this. Most men, could be a whole nother topic that I think is just as powerful, but most men are trying to get validation from their wife. They separate from other men. Our society separates from other men. They just hang out with their wife. They start to learn how to be a man from their wife. And so he starts to seek all of his validation and leans on her. She feels the heavy weight, hates it, when in reality, he should get it from other women and other men. What I mean by that is this. Other men in his life go, you're a bad motherfucker. What are you doing? Quit dropping that standard. Let's go. Hey, whoa. I knew you with a six pack. What the fuck happened? You used to not have any excuse. Now you have flabs and excuse. What the fuck? Men. And then, like I said, other women. You don't got to go flirt with other women, but you can notice that other women want you. I like going through the world with a six pack and fucking big muscles because the whole world is different. They go, he doesn't talk about discipline. He's the walking fucking billboard of it. Hey, I want my wife to treat me like I'm fuckable. I have a very simple question for you. Are you fuckable? Well, that's what we teach guys at marriedgame.com, or they can get my book at marriedgamebook.com. Either way, the bottom line is we're going to shine a mirror. It's going to hurt like hell, and then it's going to liberate you like nothing else will. And I don't really watch porn hardly ever. Sometimes Jesse and I will watch it every once in a while just for funsies. But the truth of the matter is, it's like I'm living it. I don't have to search threesome. I can just say, my wife, hey, you want to go have a threesome with you? Fuck yeah, I do. Cool. Awesome. It's not, I wish I could just give you everything and just insert it into these men's soul, which is, all I know is after I've been 9 years now living this way for the last really 6 years, like consistent, like I call it the way of the provocateur, and I'm about this life. It gives you every fucking thing you want, man. Everything you want. And what you really want is the feeling of total unconditional love springing up from inside of you for you and for others. You either are a giver or a taker, and she knows that you've even taken too much and she has no more to give. If your wife goes, I'm giving you all I have, what she's saying is, you're not giving me a lot of resources to give you much more.
I want to ask you one final one, and I feel like it could almost open up an entire new conversation. So we may go a little bit longer than I originally planned, but do you find guys have difficulty truly admitting what they want?
Yes. 1,000%. The fact that I just said that my wife and I have threesomes is going to shock a lot of the fucking sphincters listening to this. They're going to be like, wait, what? Guess why I have threesomes in my marriage? Because I wanted them. And so does my wife. We didn't take a poll. Hey, are we allowed to want this? Can we want? No, I wanted it. I'm not saying you have to want it. But if you want it, you don't want it. It literally has nothing to do with my economy. My economy is my wife and I love each other, and she thinks girls are real cute too. I don't have a problem admitting that. Most men do. And I get judged for having threesomes with my wife. And I'm like, and you'll love this one. I go, let's go look at your porn history. I need to see what you've been searching. And sure enough, MILF and threesome pops up a lot. So yes, men have a problem. Men have a problem going, I want a lust-filled, passionate, desire-filled marriage with my wife. You know why? They've been told, dude, it's not always about that. Well, I'm not saying it's not always about that. I'm not saying it's not always about that, but it can't never be about that. Like Kanye West said, having money isn't everything. They say having money isn't everything, but having it is. Like, they say money isn't everything, but having it is. Yeah, money isn't everything, but it's really fucking hard to go stay at the one and only La Palmilla for 3 days with your family on private beaches without it. So
it is. Look, anybody pause, look around the room right now or the environment that you're in. Everything that is existing in there required money to attain.
And when you're good at attaining money, it builds something inside of you that goes, I am sovereign. I create wealth. I am wealth. I also am love. Once a man realizes, because a lot of guys are searching for love. No, I am love. Of course I have a ton of love in my life. I'm the fucking embodiment of love. Why? That's just, I know what love is. Love is actions. Love shows up. Love cares. Love asks questions. Love doesn't get defensive. Love doesn't always try and prove itself. Love listens and shows up with curiosity. Love doesn't yell at a wife. A love doesn't let a wife yell at a husband. Masculinity isn't yelling at somebody because they don't understand what you're saying or don't like what you're saying. You're not going to better explain it when you yell at people. Thank you for your tantrum and your fit, but we don't need you acting like a 3-year-old anymore. Can you please be an adult and just say what you need? Oh, no, the reason they can't is because they can't admit what they desire. My lifestyle offends some people, and I'm glad it does. I'm glad it does. You know why? Because they need to be wakened up. Why are threesomes bad in your opinion? I'm not saying yours, but if the guy has a problem with that, This is why they've been told by condition, by culture, by church, by religion, what you're supposed to like, what you're not supposed to like. Yet that's not how I see it. I see a God that says, go have dominion. The canvas is yours. Paint how you want. Don't hurt anybody and don't hurt yourself. Go have fun. Yeah, they have a hard time admitting it.
What's a question then, or a truth that the guys can go take away and confront and wrestle with that will allow them to begin to get honest? Because I'm sure it takes some time and it takes work, but what's one question, one truth they can begin to face?
It does take time and it does take work, but the only thing I've actually found that really helps is an outside perspective that's willing to argue with you enough through your bullshit and help you win. Every guy has a reason why they're in here, why that's listening to this, that why their sex life isn't what it is. And it's usually almost never because I'm not the guy. It's always because of her. I had all the same excuses. And the first step is, if you could sit by, ask every guy whenever I talk, and you know, if they go to marriedgame.com, they'll have an opportunity to have a conversation with me, and I'm going to ask them this question. So this is why I'm bringing this question up. If you could sit back and hit the God button, get anything you want in your marriage, what is it? And most guys will underplay it. I said, I just gave you the God button and you said you'll take it once a week. What are we talking about here? If you can't be fucking honest, well, I'm tired of you telling me what you don't need. I'm asking, what the fuck do you want? What do you want? If you had the God button, you could smash it. What do you want? And if a guy can be honest about that, then we go to the very next question that has to be in line with and go, cool, what are you willing to do to get it? It's possible. I believe the reason why we're having a real surge in the popularity of what I'm teaching and what's going on in my world is for one reason. I'm an example of a guy that I can say, you actually can have whatever you want. My wife would actually do anything I want sexually because she believes in me so deeply, and it's her greatest joy and honor to bring me pleasure because she knows I feel the same way about her. We are fucking truly one. This is what I was looking for. When I read the Bible as much as I want, and I heard Jesus say, you and the Father can be one, I wasn't interested in having some guy's opinion about how that. I wanted to be one with God. I want to experience God in my fucking soul the way I read about in the pages. God's not the God of a dead. He's the God of a living. So I'm not interested in what dead people have to say. The second thing is, I was like, where is this oneness of actual love? I want to see what is that like? Not this fearful man hoping to get a crumb of affection and feeling bad when woman goes, is that all you think about? What am I, just a fucking walking vagina? Yada, 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 yada. And a man goes, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. It's like, oh, that is not what I read in the Bible. Those motherfuckers all had 10 wives and fucking concubines. This was not an issue they struggle with like the way we're talking about today. I'm not saying we need 10 wives or 10 concubines. Who the fuck would want that? But what I am saying is these were not timid men like we're being taught about by timid men. If a pastor doesn't have a six pack, he's true to me. He doesn't have the fruit of the spirit of self-control. I can't listen to him. Oh, you believe in a religion that says self-control is going to be the evidence of your religion, and yet you show up here 75 pounds overweight with fucking Dunkin' Donuts spilled on your fucking belly? You don't get to talk around here. Fruit is the only thing that's real. I have it. I'm the example of it, and I'm loud as fucking it because I'm showing it in people's faces. You actually can have the greatest fucking marriage of all time. You don't even have to do threesomes. That's just because you get to the top, you get what you want. But I'm saying all the way up to the top, you can get everything you want as well.
I agree, Keith, that there's a resurgence of these conversations. You know, I don't want to say that it was my intention behind starting this podcast to play a small role in that. My faith journey is radically different than yours. I came to Christ at 36 years old because of men like you that were leading from the front, were strong, alpha, masculine men that were also running business and were building kingdom empires. And that was my introduction to Christianity. And then I stepped into a lot of churches. I was like, oh, that same thing that was out there is not in here. So I'm glad that there's these conversations. There is a resurgence of it. And I think that it's going to change a lot of so you're already seeing it in the popularity with Christianity and young men and the generation behind us. So so grateful for your time here today. We're going to plug down the Married Game website, the podcast, the Instagram. Guys, if you want to at least have a conversation with Keith and his team, if anything that was shared here today woke you up. If you're in some of those dark spots, if you're in some of those dark moments and you're looking for a way out of it, this is the guy that's going to have you confront some truths in your life to begin to get honest about the things that you want and desire, and then has a framework to walk you through it. We'll help you get porn out of your life. We'll help you transform that identity. I always tell I'm not the relationship expert guy. That's not the flag that I carry. That's not the calling that God has placed on my life, but we will have everything shared down there below in the show notes for you guys. Keith, last and final question, episode 321 here. We ask this every single time. The title of our show is called The Superhuman Life. So coming at it from your perspective, your worldview, walking in the married game, marriage that you're in right now, how would you define living a superhuman life, or maybe even a superhuman marriage?
The closer you can get in your life to speaking something and it happens and it creates and it comes into existence, the closer you are to emulating the God of every religion who spoke and something happened. So to me, to live a superhuman life is the reason why water flows through the bank so easily is because it's been cleared out of all the bullshit. There's just a lot of bullshit that us men we're lying to ourselves. The mirror doesn't lie. Your bank balance doesn't lie. Your wife not wanting to touch you doesn't lie. Those are all simply signals. Yes, I'm going to help you confront a lot of truths, but I want you to understand you're dealing with a man that has a tremendous amount of fucking compassion for you. There's no judgment. I've been through everything. I've fucking been a pastor. I've jerked off as a pastor. I've cheated on my wife. I've slept with other people's wives. I've done every wrong fucking thing possible. And I've turned it around. And I've done every right thing possible. And I'm telling you, the thing that you desire, that is not God cock blocking you. He's not going, oh, there's a desire. That's going to frustrate you forever. It was planted inside of you. Go after it. You deserve to become the guy that can taste that fruit.
Amen. Amen. Guys, hope you got value out of this one. Hope you enjoyed it. What you just witnessed, in my opinion, was a professional example of how to carry a conversation by hopefully two people that are great at what they do. Even that callback there, Keith, right at the end with the riverbank example, something that I shared 50 plus minutes ago, shows a level of professionalism, expertise, and just that you were engaged in this with me from the beginning, man. So from the bottom of my heart, Keith, thank you for your time here today. I enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of this conversation here as well. Guys, check out Keith, the work he's doing at Married Game. Follow him on Instagram. Check out the podcast. Connect with his team if you want to go deeper into conversation. And most importantly, guys, share this one across the board. The numbers tell us that we can double our reach if every person listening to this shared it with one person. So that's all we ask, guys, is share this with one guy in your life. But for Keith Yackey, founder of the Married Game, your host, Coach Frank, we love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.